We have an update that should come as a surprise to no one. G4C's massive loss of viewers in months following Frost's infamous rant. And I am not surprised. So I'll go ahead and link this in the description below for those of you that want to read it for yourselves. According to public view counts, G4's various content offerings have seen a massive loss of viewers in the months following X-Play host Indiana Frost Black's on-air rant against sexism in gaming and the network's subsequent endorsement of her opinion. Yep, that went pretty damn well for them, right? Right? We had, who was it? It was Adam Sessler on the actual video. Remember, he was clapping like a seal. Obviously, he endorsed it, and then afterwards, continued to online on Twitter, I believe. And remember, Blair Herter, one of the I forget what position he holds in the company, but he holds one of the executive positions. But he said that basically, if you didn't agree with what Frost said, then G4TV wasn't for you. You shouldn't watch G4TV or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, but something to the effect of like, if you don't agree with what she says, then we're not for you. Like, don't watch us. We're not for you. Which people, of course, are okay, fine. Then we won't. Stupidest thing you could possibly say to half your fan base, and to even think, right, saying something like that would go well for you. So ridiculous, right? You're telling half the people that watch you, hey, look, if you don't agree, don't watch us anyways. Okay, then they won't. I mean, every time that they've thrown down that gauntlet, anybody that's thrown down that gauntlet with the fans and said, hey, like who was it? Brian Soderbergh, I believe. I might be saying his name right, or Brandon Soderbergh, the guy who the producer on Battlefield 5. Remember, he called fans uneducated and said that if they didn't like it, essentially, hey, if you don't like it, just don't buy the game. And they didn't. Like, they had the worst. That Battlefield 5, I think, had the worst pre-sales. I won't say the worst pre-sales in the history of Battlefield games, but I think because I don't know if it did, but it dropped something like, their pre-sales dropped by something like 80% or 78% or 80%, something like that. Something ridiculous like that. And the game essentially, I mean, not essentially, it tanked because of what he said. The topic of G4's Frost Fallout was revisited on April 26th when independent video game journalist Brad Glasgow, ostensibly out of curiosity, sought to check in on the network's health overall. Meanwhile, said Glasgow on Twitter, G4TV doesn't seem to be doing very well. X-Play is averaging around 16K views. Yeah, if you recall, what is now known as the X-Play channel, they did a bit of a do-si-do, if you guys remember that. The X-Play channel, what is now known as the X-Play channel, was formerly the G4TV channel. And what was the X-Play channel is now known as the G4TV channel. They swapped them. So, I don't know. Maybe that was an attempt. People suspect that maybe that was an attempt to maybe build more traction again, because maybe the channel with the lesser subscribers has a better chance of the videos being in people's being in the recommendeds and things like that. That it's basically not as dead in the algorithm. So maybe that's why. Hard to say. Don't know. But that's what people speculated. That maybe that's why they did the do-si-do. But it hasn't helped them. It hasn't helped them in the least. If you look at the channel's views before the infamous Frost video, not counting that video's numbers, they were averaging around 40K views per video, he further noted. Yeah, and if you go to their channel, if you go to the X-Play channel right now, and you see where that video is at, he's right. I mean, you can't really see it here because it's very small, but if you go to the channel, you'll see that he's absolutely 100% right. Sure enough, the numbers don't lie. As both previously reported by Bounding Into Comics and noted by Glasgow above, prior to Frost's declaration that male viewers who didn't appreciate being blanket attacked, if you don't like it, don't watch, videos are on the core of G4 channel, on the core G4 channel, pulled in anywhere between 15,000 to 75,000 views, with content focusing on host personalities doing significantly less than reviews of well-known game titles. And that's not surprising, right? Because people want they want to know about the game more than anything else, not about what you think or the way that they don't want to know about your worldview. If they want to hear about somebody's worldviews, if you have your own personal channel, maybe they'll subscribe to you for that, right? If you have your own vlogging channel or a channel where you just go on rants yourself talking about whatever the hell it is that you believe and like, then that's one thing. Or maybe they'll just go to a political channel or whatever, right? But if they're coming to G4, it's presumably, right, because it's supposed to be about video games. it's to hear about video games first and foremost. So, let's go on here. It says, for example, a Death Stranding review uploaded on January 12th, just hours prior to Frost's rant, managed to pique the interest of at least 70,449 users, while a retro review of Batman's Arkham Knight, published 2 months earlier, pulled in 79,875 views. Though the network was able to retain their average view counts for roughly 2 weeks, a retro review of Mass Effect Andromeda published after Frost's outburst holds a current view count of 72,670, and a January 25th discussion of Fortnite sits at 31,236. It seems this was only a temporary stopgap. In February, G4's 3 best performing videos reviews of Sifu, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Horizon Forbidden West, respectively, managed roughly 40,000 views each, with uploads averaging an approximate average of 20,000 views. Now, when you look at that, I mean, anybody else, right? Look, hey, you know, I'm happy to get any views I possibly can, right? But you know, when you have a subscriber count that's a certain amount, I think that your averages should be a little bit different than that. I mean, I know for me, I mean, but my channel is essentially, I mean, it's a whatever channel. I mean, I do this as a hobby, so I'm sure I'm way below the threshold of views that I should be getting per video. The averages that I should presumably be getting for the size of my channel, I don't know, but I don't care. That's the difference. I don't give a shit. So it's whatever. But for this, you would think that a channel with almost 500,000 subs, you know, should be averaging, I mean, around maybe like, more than that, probably more than 50,000 views at least, but at least higher, maybe in the hundreds would be expected, maybe in, 90,000 to hundreds, maybe more, even more than that, for the amount, but who knows? It's hard to say, because it's kind of like they look at it, at least you should be getting at least close to 10% of that. So, I mean, if you're averaging about 40,000 views to 50,000 views would be a little bit of a better average for them, right? In terms of their, what their subscribership is, but who knows? I mean, I guess better getting some views than none at all, but, nowhere near enough what they would need to be a sustainable business moving forward, I think. I think they have like a staff of 30 plus people. So it's like, how is any of this paying for that? And you'd have to think they have to be hemorrhaging money at this point. And the fact that they're still around, I don't see how much more sustainable it's going to be for them if they're solely banking on YouTube, right? So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. But it says, simultaneous with the reshuffling of their various YouTube channels, this decline continued into March, wherein the channel's views further decreased, with most videos averaging around 15,000 to 20,000 views. And the month's breakout uploads, this time reviews of Gran Turismo 7, a GoldenEye 007 retrospective, and a first impression of Elden Ring, eventually plateauing at 27,000 views. Interestingly, the month held one massive outlier as the network's review of Elden Ring broke 48,000 views. However, it should be noted that this performance is less indicative of an explosive love for G4 and X-Play's content and more of a hunger from fans of the series for any information they could get on the game prior to its release. Unfortunately for G4, these numbers would proceed to absolutely crater in April. Unlike prior months, only one video uploaded by the network across the whole of April. A developer hosted first look at the upcoming Hyperlight Drifter sequel, Hyperlight Breaker, has managed to breach 20,000 views. Further, the average views on the channel have also dropped, with most of the month's videos barely breaching 10,000 views. Though not as a significant of a loss, the channel also spent recent months bleeding subscribers. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Ever since this happened, they have been steadily losing subs on top of everything else. So, starting with an initial count of roughly 498,000 subscribers, the channel saw an initial loss of roughly 6,000 in the immediate aftermath of Frost's rant, and has since only watched this number dwindle. Since the controversy began, the X-Play channel has lost an additional 4,000 subs, bringing the total subscriber count down even further to $1,000. As concluded by Glasgow, this is pretty clear and significant drop in numbers. Whatever your opinion on the Frost video, it is clear that it hurt the channel. I said, and yeah, and it's undoubtable at this point, right? And it's just going to continue to get worse. I don't think they're going to come back from this. I think they're done. G4TV is done. They'll be lucky to last another year. But hey, who knows? Comcast owns them. Maybe they'll want to continuously dump money and see if somehow, some way they can pull them back from the brink. But it's really a question of how much money is Comcast willing to lose before finally saying, you know what, enough is enough, let's pull the plug. So that's what we'll really have to wait and see on what happens there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As always, until next time, y'all know how it goes. The hunt continues.